Who will decide for us? This is a big question. It's a question that we ask ourselves a lot in Chicago because we spend a lot of time figuring out how the pie is going to be cut up. We know that the divisive politics that are just endemic to the city mean that we are all going to fight over scraps. And we also know that we're not going to have a lot to say about it. We're going to, in a sort of aggregate way, be fighting over things for our particular ethnic group, but individually we're not going to be able to say what particular things are important to us, what matter to our kids, what matters at our workplace, things like that. So as a result, we end up fighting over things and getting a little bit, but mostly getting left out. And so when we pick up the daily papers, we read that there's some sort of a scandal where there's more money missing, where there's another way that money's being spent that's sort of outrageous. We'll spend $2 billion on Amazon, but we'll close public schools because we don't have room for an elementary school and a high school in one place. Just absurd either-ors that should never be either-ors. We got to do things differently. My name's Gabriel Piemonte, and I'm running for alderman of the 5th Ward. And I'm talking to you today specifically to invite you to an event this Saturday, May 5th, from 2 to 5:30 p.m. We're going to have an open house, what I'm calling a grand community opening of our campaign headquarters here on 71st Street, 2136 East 71st Street. And we're going to use a couple of tools along with just simple conversation and engagement in other ways to try to figure out where we stand as a group in terms of our values, in terms of our priorities, what we'd like to see happen in the neighborhood. So we're going to have a mind map on this chalkboard behind me. It's a 20-foot wide chalkboard. We're going to have words that based on our conversation with residents of the 5th Ward, other Southsiders, our experience in general, we think represent some of the important issues, things like safety and learning and economics. And from those, we'll have anyone who comes in who's interested in doing so connect to other words that are closely related, ask questions, introduce solutions, put all of it on the board. Everything gets connected to one another in ways that make sense. And our hope is at the end, we're going to have a kind of initial, an initial salvo in the back and forth that we hope will come out of our campaign, and figuring out what people care about and how to make the things that are important to us either stay in the community or come in if they're not, how we're going to overcome challenges in the community, things of that nature. So that's this Saturday. That's May 5th from 2 to 5:30. We think that our approach will be a little different than the approach of other campaigns. We're not interested in simply getting you in the win column, putting you into a category of likely voter, possible voter, gonna vote for me, might vote for me. We have to go out and systematically engage with all the residents of the ward, and we have to make a case, and people will or they won't consider us the right candidate for them. But that can only be a part of what we're doing. We also have to demonstrate that we're trying to do something different. Otherwise, why make change? So what we're interested in is getting your voice into what we're doing. We want you to be heard in a way that you haven't been for a long time. And so on in our open house, we're going to have opportunities for engagement like the mind map I've described. We're also going to talk about citizen guidance groups, which are issue-centered groups of folks who are interested in directing the campaign and helping to identify priorities. There are other things going on that we're going to talk about. We'd love to have you with us. Again, it's this Saturday. It's May 5th. It's 2 to 5:30. Bring your kids. We have a front room seating area that's a little more comfortable than what you probably have seen in some other places. We're going to try to make it a space that you feel good in and that you feel a little bit of ownership over. And we're hoping this is a step forward towards a different kind of politics, something that's more about pulling us all together, recognizing the value of every voice, and trying to assemble a diverse group of leaders who can together make a change in the 5th Ward. Thank you.